because I'm back in the dating scene, I have been trying to figure out how to break this pattern that I have of ending up with men that I end up dominating. And not in the gutter way, okay? In the way that I have a really big personality. I am confident. I know my self worth. I'm not afraid to speak my mind. I have opinions on a lot of things and I know what I want. I mean, who isn't attracted to confidence? And so I'm wondering if maybe like I'm attracting insecure men because they're looking like they're trying to fill that piece of themselves with me.
You know, I'm gonna let the video finish, but I want to stop it real quick to say this. If your first idea is maybe my big personality is so intimidating that I'm attracting insecure men, maybe you should get a mentor. Maybe you should turn off the camera and have a conversation with people who can help you flush this out. Because what I'm noticing is that as soon as things aren't going the way people expect them to go, because obviously she says she's back in the dating space and she wants a traditional relationship marriage, and she's not having the success she wants. Whenever things start being challenging, they start trying to figure out what the problem is, which is good, process of elimination. But if you start looking on the outside first, rather than within, that's problematic. That's problematic. I would say, sis, like the whole idea of attracting, if someone sees you, they could be a good person or a bad person. Whether if they like what you look like, then they're gonna come talk to you. Now, what I think people are attempting to say when they say attracting is like, what am I doing? Am I giving something off? Like for the most part, if you're just showing up, living, you're just gonna attract people who see you and want to talk to you. It's not that deep. But in terms of you having a big personality and dominating and having an opinion, I don't think that's really about you intimidating people. And I think it's about understanding when to speak and when to listen. Like having wisdom and knowing like, hey, I had this big personality, but it's not always time for it. I have an opinion, but it's not always a time for your opinion. That man may not want to hear your opinion on that topic, whatever it may be. But I just think this whole idea of women jumping to the conclusion that men are intimidated because they make a lot of money, or men are intimidated because they have a big personality, or men are intimidated because they're successful or they're good at what they do. To me, that's just a lazy approach to really finding out why you're not having success, or a lazy approach to the fact that you're not getting the results you want. So let me let her finish out. It's quite a long video, so let me let her go.
And they admire it, they look up to it, but then it ends up biting both of us in the butt because I expect them to also know their worth and also know what they want. They feel so insecure about it that we fight about it.
She's throwing that word around
and
again.
It comes out when I'm trying to connect with them on an emotional level and talk to them about themselves, and they get really uncomfortable. And when I challenge them to try to connect with themselves, and I talk about like how I do that and what it feels like and how it's powerful and how it benefits me, and it's like they don't trust it. They don't trust this.
She's trying to tell grown men how to be. She's saying it really nicely, but I'm gonna tell you what it really sounds like. Y'all need to work on yourselves, and this is what I do, and you should do that because that's why I'm the person I am. No, most people aren't going to do well with that. Even if you have a female friend, most of them aren't going to do well with that. That's not a good approach. So what do you expect, a man, how you expect him to receive that, especially if he's an assertive man? He's not going to receive that well.
wisdom that I have, and it's annoying because it's not that I'm like being self-righteous, it's just that I grew up with a mom that taught me a lot of things, and she taught me how to be empowered. And it's so tricky because I want a traditional family system. Like, I want a traditional life, but historically trad wives have been submissive. Times are changing, women are changing,
We're
and
getting to it.
becoming way more empowered.
Now
And I
she's
feel
telling
like
what the problem really
men
is.
aren't. But they also are like, they like it, they love it about me, okay? They're like fiends for it, but then they end up resenting me for it. And it's just like so tricky because
She's missing the forest for the trees.
I'm not really sure how to figure this out before I become attached to them. And that's been my problem. And so that's where I'm trying to figure out how to break this pattern. And like, maybe I need to look for different men or like different types of things that show up early. But I mean, these guys that I've had these experiences with, it's like they do show up in that way. They do show up confident and they do pursue me and say that they want the same things as.
Part of the problem here, for one, I appreciate, because she seems sincere about this, right? Part of the problem is she thinks that she's right. Something my mom taught me, and I always try to remember it. She said the quickest way to be right is to be wrong. You can have a good thing and it not be timely. And you can go about like exercise, like, no, you need to do this because I know this works. Just because it's a good thing for you or just because it's right, it doesn't mean that it's timely for you to share with that person or that it's right for them. You know, and a lot of times people miss that in relationships. But she started to talk about submission. That's where it is. Like whenever you start thinking that, she said times have changed. No. Well, yes, times have changed. But what makes relationships and marriages work has not changed. God's designed marriage, the principles, the fundamental things that make marriage work, which is submission, the man submitting to God and the woman submitting to the man, that will always be needed in a marriage for it to work. So that's part of your problem right there, sis. That's part of your problem right there. And you're not married, you know, and the other part is discernment, you know, being discerning. But let me let her finish so we can finish this conversation and wrap it up.
And then as time goes on, it's like they go back into actually who they truly are. And I'm like, bruh, like, if you actually weren't like that and don't want that and don't like it, that I'm confident and you're not, and it makes you feel insecure because you don't know what you want and I do, and so I expect that out of you, or at least like expect you to try to figure it out, and it makes you feel self-conscious because you're not enough. So it's just tricky because yes, I want a traditional lifestyle. I want a man that pursues me, that is the initiator, that is not afraid of like leading me, okay? Like I believe in that. I believe in this traditional partnership, but I also want somebody that respects me, and because I'm the way that I am, it's uncomfortable for
That's the
people.
problem.
And maybe it's like specifically a Utah thing because it's common to live a traditional life, but it's maybe not as common to not have a doormat of a wife.
Man, I'm telling you, missing the forest for the trees. Missing the forest. This is a perfect example of missing the forest for the trees. Like, because of the way I am. Like, you can be away and it be healthy, but also be away and it be unhealthy. All of your ways aren't healthy. So it could be that you need to learn how to temper your personality at different times and in different spaces. Now, I do think that certain people's personalities can be a bit of a clash. This doesn't sound like that. This sounds like I want to be who I am and how I am all the time whenever I want to be. That's not how relationships work. There has to be mutual consideration. And then, you know, I keep saying this, like a lot of times people try to say, oh, I'm not having success, so it must be something outside of me. She says it must be a Utah thing. Sis, human beings are the same all around the world. I know there's like some cultural differences and upbringing differences, but ultimately, the problems in Utah are happening in Florida, are happening in New York and California and Idaho and Montana and Illinois and Texas. It's the same. It's the same. It's not that nuanced. It's not. It's not that complicated.
I guess, like in these days. And being 25, I've like definitely come into myself, you know? It's like I've always been the way that I am, but I am like way more so now. I'm way more confident and speak my mind way more. And sometimes I'm like, okay, like I need to like dial it back.
Absolutely.
They don't know me that well, but then on the other hand, I'm like, wait, no, like I need to show them who I am immediately on the first date. So
See what I'm saying? I want to be who I am, how I am all the time whenever I want to be like it. Sis just needs a mentor. She needs an older mentor, someone who can help her, navigate this, because I can tell, well, it just seems like she's sincere. She's really trying to figure it out. And the sooner she figured that out, the more helpful it'll be in her dating experience.
that they can either be scared off or either like it. But again, like it attracts these like insecure men, and they hide it from me. So like where's the clues? Where's the clues that they're insecure and that they're not actually going to leave me and actually going to provide for me?
They're not hiding it, sis. There are certain things that come with the nature of tradition and that structure. A lot of times people just don't want structure. She wants to be able to do what she wants, say what she wants, how she wants, because she's a free woman. She has equality and she can do that. And I agree. Like, she should be able to, exercise free will, But when you're in a marriage as a man and a woman, it comes with boundaries. You don't get to say and do as you please. You want leadership, then that means that you have to follow. You want someone to lead you. I'm not saying you should want anyone to lead you off a bridge. But it's like, if you want me to drive to the event, you can't then get in a car and tell me, hey, go this way. It's like, no, I have a GPS. I'm going to follow this GPS. Like, if I trust you and I say, oh, okay, I had this and this GPS going, but if I'll follow your directions. Okay, great. For this specific situation. But a lot of times they don't understand that leadership comes with also structure, and as long as it's respectful, you should be submitting and you should be honoring it. But it's a lot of conversation to have around it. I love it. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Don't forget to connect with the brand online, where you can also buy merch like the hoodie I'm wearing at www.there'shopebrand.com. Again, that's www.there'shopebrand.com. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And if you want to donate, that's also in the description below. And I'll catch y'all in the next video.